Back on the Jeep, and it's going to let you know what progress has been made on it so far. I'm going to kind of ignore the fact that I hadn't put a video out in a long time because it's a little embarrassing. I just hadn't been able to keep up with it. But I got a lot of good stuff done, and I was going to show you some of the stuff. The engine was running, as you could see from one of my last videos, but you notice if you watch that video, it had a bad miss in it. Well, after running a little diagnostics, I replaced coil packs on the cylinders that were misfiring, and that didn't do it. Replaced, swapped plug wires, that didn't cure anything. New plugs, put new plugs in, didn't fix it. And then finally I got around to moving the injectors around, and it followed the misfire followed the injectors, so I had some bad injectors. I pulled the injectors out of the fuel rail, and there was a bunch of junk in the injectors, so I don't know how it got in there. This is a used engine, and I don't know if it came out of the tank on the Jeep or what, but anyway, I cleaned those out and tried to rehabilitate the injectors and clean those, but they didn't seem to be firing at all, so I was forced with having to buy some new injectors, and I looked around and ended up finding a good deal on a Trailblazer SS intake. This is supposed to be the best intake for, you know, like stock LS engine. It's supposed to give it an extra, you know, probably according to what the cubic inches is. This is a 4.8 in here, and it should give it like another, you know, 10-20 horsepower or something like that. Supposedly it's a good bolt-on, and I got it inexpensive, and it already has injectors on it. I'm just hoping those injectors work. They got to be newer than my my $200 4.8 LS engine in there. So I ordered some stuff like a throttle body to convert the throttle body from drive-by wire to drive-by cable, which is what my setup is. I've got a drive-by cable. So I'm going to convert all of that. I'm going to take this old intake off. Not to mention, this old intake is really messed up. Like I said, this is a really cheap engine I got in here. But it was cracked right here. I had to JB weld. I JB welded this back. And it needs to go. And it's a little bit of work, a little bit more expensive. Had to get intake gaskets. I got that intake pretty cheap, so that's what makes the project really worthwhile. Injectors and everything, I found that for $50, and I mean, you can't buy any of the components on it. So going with that, I had to get the adapter, and I think if all goes well, that's all I should need. So anyway, hopefully by the time I end this video, we'll be able to fire this thing up. Let me show you what has been done since the last video. Made a floor plate since it was a 5-speed. Installed this. This is half installed, this shifter in here. It's got a 4L60 transmission in it and an MP231C transfer case out of a truck. So it's got pretty stout Chevy components in it, and I still got the stock axles and all that good stuff. But I'll show you what I did of it. I made my own little cross member here, mainly because I'll weld in, you know, plates to protect everything later. But right now, this is enough to hold everything up in here. And you'll see I've got my exhaust welded up there. It's just used parts I had laying around, and I just kind of welded them together and made an exhaust for it. And there's the 241C, and I've got a just an aftermarket drive shaft. It just happened to fit in here perfect. Aftermarket drive shaft for a Jeep with a 4 to 6 inch lift. So far so good. I haven't driven it anywhere but around the yard a little bit, and not very far because it was missing. So that's where we stand on that. And I got an old muffler. All this is going to be changed. Ooh, I got a leak too. I got to figure out where that's coming from. I got an old muffler. It was just laying in the back there, just to stick on there, and that's going to be changed out. And I'm going to try to find something that's a little bit quieter in there, and maybe add just a single tailpipe. I'd like to do duals, but I've done that before, and that's a lot of work for what you get out of it, and it just, you know, complicates everything under here. So this is what it looks like so far. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll hear it start up with the new intake on it, and hopefully all my misses will go away. So it's got shortened drive shaft too. So slip yoke eliminator kit on there. Anyway, and it's for the 241C, so it shortens everything up pretty well. So I'm pretty happy the way everything fit under here, and so far so good. My leak is coming from this clocking ring that I got off eBay. They warned that if you don't put enough sealant on it, it might do that. So evidently I've got a very slight leak right there, and that kind of sucks. I'm gonna try to tighten up the bolts a little bit. Anyway, this is low budget. You're not gonna see a whole lot of fancy stuff on this Jeep. Most of it has come from the junkyard or Facebook Marketplace, and I'll end up not having a whole lot of money in it. Hopefully, when I get done, it's all the little small things that kind of they get you piece by piece. So I'll have to finish up drive shaft and some kind of linkage for the shifter for the transfer case, but and then clean everything up. Main thing right now, I just want to get it driving around and, you know, get it so I can see how reliable it's going to be, because my wife and I we want to go to a Jeep Jam in Panama City and Biloxi. And the main thing, I really wanted to get this thing ready for the summer, because I want to drive around in the summer and get the bugs out of it. And getting really close to that. So it's starting to warm up outside. The pollen's starting to fall. Probably going to need some new tires, even though I love those tires. I wish they still made these. I think those are BF Goodrich KM2s. They make KM3s, but the KM2s look so much better. I wish they would go back to making those. I'll probably drive it around for a while on these, but eventually I'm going to have to get something to replace those. Right, so from a new intake, that new throttle bracket. It's not factory, it's like aftermarket, but it looks pretty thick. The injectors are different. They have different connectors, so these are supposed to make it so I can connect the old injector wires to the new injectors. And we have a throttle body adapter. I'm going to put that on today. Well, unfortunately, the new intake pushes the throttle body forward, I guess because that spacer I had in there. And that's the amount of clearance I have. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Ooh, just a little bit of flex and it's going to hit. Oh, well, at least it'll be enough for me to start it up and see what it's going to run like. Oh, well. Yeah, ignore all the wiring. I'm kind of redoing it, organizing it a little bit better. I'll straighten it out. Right now, I'm going to see if this sucker's going to run. Make sure I hadn't forgotten to plug anything in here. Not needed. A fire tablet that I wasn't using, and I put torque on there. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but I got it rigged up so I can have some gauges. See if I can get it to connect. There we go. See, it's reading my coolant, transmission temperature. I don't have this mounted yet, so still missing on the cylinder. I don't know what's going on with that. I checked the injectors and I think they're okay. It could be a bad coil wire or something, but Sounds better than it did, but I still have some work to do. That's what she looks like with the new intake on it, but as you can see, it's got a little bit of a rough idle. Like that pretty wiring I got going on there, huh? All right, well, yeah, it's just barely put together, so I'm gonna take it down the road real quick. Almost there. Summer's almost here too, so that was my goal, have it ready by summer. I wish they still had those tires, I'll tell you that. I love those tires, but they make the KM3s, they're close. All right, thanks for watching, and more to come.